it's Tori, and it's time for round 2 of Bookopoly TBR. Oh, I'm so excited. I have been waiting. For me, it's been like almost 2 months since I filmed the last one, even though it's only been a few weeks since I uploaded the last one. I've just been dying to do another one of these because I had so much fun. Quick update, if you couldn't tell from the title, I have decided to have this be a TBR every 2 months instead of for 1 month. Just because I think I need a little bit more of a balance rather than just every month having these specific TBRs that I'm doing. Please forgive my horrible nails. I just have been too lazy to remove the nail polish. But anyway, I just needed a little bit more of a balance, a little bit more flexibility, so I decided to do one of these for every 2 months. That could change. Maybe I'll just start doing it whenever I finish them. I don't really know. We'll see how this works. I feel like 2 months will be plenty of time to allow me to get it done, but also have some wiggle room to read just whatever I'm wanting to. So without further ado, let's head over to the board. All right, so I'm using an off-screen dice again, just because it's what I have, so I promise not to lie, but we are just gonna get started. Okay, so first we got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, middle grade. Okay, so for a middle grade, it is going to be about time that I start trying to reread another one of the books on my list from my reading goals for 2020. And so the one I'm going to do is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Riordan. It's been about a decade, maybe more, since I have read this series, and I just really, really want to get back into it. So we're gonna go for that. We then got 3, so 1, 2, 3, an adult read. Okay, the adult novel I picked is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, which is, I think I said that right, yes, Diane Setterfield, which is a story that I don't really know much about. I think it takes place on the banks of the River Thames and wow, that was a mouthful. I don't really know what time period it's set in, but I do know that while these people are enjoying their time in this inn, a man carrying a girl that seems to be dead comes barging in, soaking wet. He doesn't know who the girl is, or so he claims, and the girl, who, as I said, appears to be dead, ends up coming back to life, and nobody really knows who she is. In this area, there's also been a few other girls who have gone missing recently, so it's this big mystery. I read The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield last year and absolutely adored it, so I'm excited to get into another one of her books, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. Okay, then 10, which will just take us right over to low fantasy. For a low fantasy, I decided to go with the 3rd Dragonwatch book by Mull. I don't remember what the title specifically is for this one, but here's the cover so you can see what it is. I have recently read the first 2 in this series. This is a sequel series to the Fablehaven series that he wrote many, many years ago. And in that original series, I feel like I've said series so much, sorry, but in that original Fablehaven series, we follow Kendra and Seth, who are going to stay with their grandparents for a time while their parents are traveling around. And these grandparents have kind of lived like hermits, and Kendra and Seth don't really know them that well, but they go and they discover that their grandparents live on this huge property. It's very, very secluded, and they're kind of bored, to be honest, as the grandparents don't allow technology on the property, so they have to kind of figure out things to do. And while they're doing so, they end up discovering that perhaps this property is not all that it seems. In fact, it might be a sanctuary for magical creatures. It's a super, super fun middle grade series that I grew up reading and absolutely loved. It was one of my first fandoms. And this is a sequel series that recently started, and it really starts just a few months after the end of the Fablehaven series. And I've been really impressed so far by how Mull's been able to bring the characters back to life and keep them the same. They don't feel terribly different or anything, which I think can be very tricky, especially when it's been several years since you've wrote about them, but I feel like he's done a good job. Now that I'm older, I have noticed that his writing style is not necessarily my favorite, but I still love the story. The world is so fun and so enjoyable to take part in, and the characters are really funny and wonderful and relatable, I feel like, in many ways. Unfortunately, once I read this one, however, the next one I think might be coming out later this year, but then the last one doesn't come out till next year, so I'm gonna have to wait, which it's been a while since I've had to wait on books in a series, so that'll be interesting. Okay, next we got 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So ooh, sorry hippo, a classic drama. For a classic drama, I of course had many to choose from, and I ended up going with Hester by Margaret Oliphant. This is the book choice for Kate over on Kate Howe. A read-along most Victorian read-along going on right now for February and March, and I don't know much about this. I know it's about a woman who owns a bank. She's never married, and she's been very successful during the Victorian time period owning this bank, and she ends up meeting a woman named Hester, and I don't really know much more than that, but I've heard that it's really good. I really want to try Margaret Oliphant, especially because she apparently is the favorite author of Queen Victoria. So very excited to pick this up, and hopefully it will be as enjoyable as it sounds. 10 again, which will just take us right over to a chance card, which is awesome because I've been wanting to do one of the cards. So we have a book by a favorite author. I don't know if you can see that. These cards are kind of crappy, but at least I can read them. So for a book by a fave author, technically I don't know if I can say this author is a favorite because she's only written 2 books and I read one of them and loved it, and this is the other one, but I just really want to get to this book ASAP. So I am going to read Agnes Grey by Anne Brontë. This is a story following Agnes Grey, whose family, it looks like they treat her like a child. They don't treat her very well, and she ends up kind of breaking away to go and be a governess. However, the experiences she has as a governess are not very flattering, and the children are not very flattering either. So I really want to know if Anne Brontë would be considered a favorite author, because as of right now, her one thing that I've read, I've absolutely adored, and I've heard great things about this one too. So I feel like there's potential. So you can say that might be bending the prompt a little bit, but I'm just going to count it because there's every chance that she's going to become a favorite author as long as I enjoy this one. So, and last roll, maybe, we have 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Parent recommendation. So I don't have any of the books that my parents have recommended to me with me at school, but I'll have to go home and get them this spring break, which is just in a couple weeks, thank goodness. I think the one I'm going to choose is Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. This is a story, I think it's a historical fiction following a orphanage where many parents who are just struggling take their kids just temporarily until they can get themselves on their feet and can take the kids back and actually take care of them. However, the woman running this orphanage starts up a business in which she sells these children to wealthy families. My mom read this for a book group a couple years ago, I think, and really liked it, and so I just want to pick it up. It's one that's been on my radar for a long time, really since I got home from my mission almost, 2 years ago, as of a couple days ago from when you're seeing this. Anyway, very strange. So yeah, for the past 2 years I've wanted to read this, and I just think it's finally time. And then that actually was a double. It was 2 4s, so I think I hadn't really thought about this, but I think when I get to like a doubles at the end of the board, I'm going to have to roll again. So I rolled again and got a 7. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and we have a romance heavy book. So that is it for that. So for this one, I'm going to go with another classic just so we can have a wide variety of classics on this list, although I feel like all of them kind of have a similar theme. They're all by female classic authors, which is awesome. But anyway, that will be North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I know that this is similar to Pride and Prejudice in that it follows a woman who, her family moves from the southern part of England to the northern part of England, and there she meets a wealthy factory owner by the name of Mr. Thornton, and they do not get along at first. However, things change, as they do in romance novels. But I've heard amazing things about this. I've already read the first couple pages just to get a sense of it and see if it really was something I'd want to continue with. And I fell in love with the writing style almost immediately, so I feel like this is definitely going to have a very good payoff once I pick it up. Anyway, so that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below some of the books you're looking forward to reading soon, as I would love to know, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!